to start with is doing riffs on a design. So you may be working on a design and taking inspiration from something. And then the key is to kind of keep going with it outside of what the original inspiration was. I have a file ready, and I'll go ahead and show it to you. Let me share the screen real quick. And here we go. And right now you can see I've got two different versions. Excuse me. And these are actually based off of an earring that I saw. And the first earring that I saw was actually just, let me show you, just basically two loops. So here, if I connect those. No, it's not liking that. I'm selecting the circles center there. Okay, here we go. So basically, we had two loops, and to me, that was kind of interesting. But, oh, and then there was a cabochon right here. So if you think of like something like this, where they had put a stone like about right there. And I thought it was interesting, but it wasn't something that I thought would do well for a laser. It was just kind of boring. So what I did is I went ahead and started with the two loops. So you can see that in this iteration here. And then I took the shape of the teardrop top and then the teardrop itself down here. And I wanted to kind of play on the idea of a floating teardrop. So those there aren't connected to these main big lines in any obvious way that you think of it. I mean, this one, yeah, you look at it, but it's one of those things where it's like, you know, this is kind of neat because this is suspended in this larger one here. Then taking it a step further, you can go ahead and keep adding these teardrop shapes. So here I still have the teardrop shape where I've cut it off there, but I actually extended it down here. So you get kind of this mimicry of the line, and then you have the next line below it. So it kind of creates a nice pattern right there. And then I added in another teardrop and another teardrop to chain this down, thinking that possibly I could take away this loop here and then kind of make a new iteration on it. I've got a separate layer shown here. So I'll turn that one off, turn this guy back on. And you can see that's exactly what I've done here. In that I have also turned into, instead of a circle, I've turned into another loop here. And your jump ring should be large enough that you can get past the tall loop with no problem at all. So I've got actually petals that I made from rotating these guys 45 degrees on each side. So it kind of looks like a collar, kind of looks like a petal. You know, it kind of brings to mind something different for everyone who sees it. And then you've still got this nice overlaying loop here that creates the length and the shape of the whole piece. And then I also took it a step further and I removed the big loops entirely. And now you see I've kept that collar and I've gone down into a square shape here. And the square shape, because it's not as, you know, fluid as the rest, then creates a really tight feel to it. I like this crossing across here, but you can take that out. Let me turn off the lock on this layer and I'll be able to show you. So I'm going to duplicate this. And this is basically how you can work with this, is that you take each one and you're going to hold. My Illustrator's gotten funky since I updated it. So there we go. And take this across with all duplicate it over to the side and then just keep riffing on this same thing because you have plenty of room to do it and you have plenty of different ways that you can interpret this. So for now on this one, I'm going to say, you know what, that line's got to go. So I'm going to use the A arrow so I can select the line itself and oops, see right here. That's the center for this piece. So unfortunately, if you accidentally select both, which is what I did, then it'll delete everything in that center as well. So let's try this again. I'm just going to delete that line there. Sorry, it's not early here, so I can't blame that. But actually, with this, if we want to keep these corners, then we're going to come in. And you're going to want to use the plus key, and you're going to want to add points to the line. You can see I've got a white spot there, and let's see if it actually took right there. There. So I've got anchors on either side. Now, let's try this again. There, I can actually clip it, and you can see that that's a different look to the entire thing. And you can take it further. You can start doing a heart around the whole thing. Since these are kind of upside down hearts, you can actually turn it upside down itself, which would be an interesting earring. And there we go. Got to see those double arrows. And then here, let's rotate it 180 degrees. And you have something that's a little bit different there. Now with this, since you have this line through the teardrops here, you could also come through and take this. Oops. I am just not pleased with Illustrator this morning. This afternoon, I guess. So here we go. You can see that this is the line that I've made right there. And hopefully I don't have anything else selected with it. I'm going to use Alt again, and we're going to pull this guy up inside there. And that actually is kind of an interesting look. You can also take it one more, and you can add it all the way to the top, since this is starting to look a bit kind of empty and blank. So take this all the way up and say, okay, that's where that feels like it should be, maybe a little lower. That feels good. And then we're going to zoom in, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to clip this right here with the plus arrow, and right here. And hopefully it actually went through. It's hard to see on the. There we go. Okay, let's pull back. And now you've got another look entirely. So taking this, like I said, when you come from something that is one basic design, you can come up with a lot of creative designs just by pulling the sides out. You know, I could do the same thing over here. I could say, oh, you know, I really love this. In fact, I'm going to start moving up here so we have more room to kind of pull to the side. And say, you know, with this, what I really like, I think, would be to take this piece here and rotate it down. So you can either use the rotate tool. Right now it's being friendly and giving you the center of this piece right now. So you can make sure that you can rotate it down from the center of it versus the center of anything else. Hold Alt and click, and then you decide how far you want to rotate it. In this case, I think I want 180. Yes, and you can see right now it's doing it based on that same center, so it's actually up there. If I copy it, then you see something like that. That's not bad. You can actually work with this. So you could say, oh, I want to take this down here, or you can leave it back where it was, and then you can save this diamond shape that it makes. I think I'm not really a big fan of either of those, so I'm going to try taking it down here, and I'm going to see what I think about that. And I think that's more interesting to me. Not a big fan of this guy again, but I don't want to delete it entirely, so I'm going to come back. We can drop some anchor points, sorry. in there, and then oops, missed it. Then we are going to delete and that last little point from that. And then you have something entirely different when you start looking at that. Now you could say, this one feels unfinished. So I'm going to do the same thing where I have the double arrows with Alt, pull it across and say, you know, I think with this, what we want to do is we want to copy this teardrop top and bring it back here to kind of match the, there we go, to kind of match the bottom that we put on that there. And that could work. I'm personally not liking it much, but you could work with it. One of the things this then lends itself to, I think, is you can actually just take it into a shape that is, there we go. Oh. I don't know. All right, let's try this again. Here. So if you think that you just, I'm not really digging it, then one of the things you can do is just pull this out entirely, and maybe even just join these. And make a shape out of that. Now that's not bad. I mean, I don't recall that I've seen other earrings doing that. Another thing you can do with this is then you can keep going and you take this and you're going to put a bar across, and the bar itself, and this is, we're just going to use the pen tool, and we're going to hold shift to keep it a straight line, and we're going to do that. I think that's a little tall, a little high. So I only have one point selected. Click off and select the whole line there. And say, you know what, I kind of want to do something like that. It gives us something a little clever. You know, these guys are clocking in at maybe an inch and a half deep. Let me take a look here. Properties. Yeah, they're only 1.27 inches if you look up here. So that'd be something interesting, but I don't know that people would see those little kind of accent parts. So let's keep iterating. We don't want to delete anything, since something in there could be something you come back later and say, you know what, I actually want this whole thing to be longer, or something along those lines. So I'm going to take it and we're going to iterate again. Then pull across. And now this one, I think we're going to pull this guy down so it actually covers. Oops. I think it's just a little too long for this space. Let's get that short. Down there we go. Okay. And I still think it's a bit too long, so we're gonna pull it down and just pull it in here so it matches. That'll be close enough for now. Once we get to actually making our shape, then we can worry about these two little pieces there. Okay, so now we have that guy, and I think it might be interesting to actually take, and I think I want to flip this. Take this and put it so that this new center of this shape is going to be down here. And we're going to try that and copy. And that's a little further than I wanted to go, but no fault. We're just going to drag it back up. So I want a little more space here. So I could either come back in here and add in like some kind of a loop or some kind of a curve that takes it through. I think I'm going to just go with a straight line. So I'm going to take the pen tool. I'm going to start here And I'm going to hold shift so we go straight up and go straight up into here. Same thing here, pen tool, hold shift, go straight up. I don't really want to connect to the other shapes right now. So pen tool, and actually I want 8 as the selection. So now you're getting more geometric on this, but you're still maintaining that teardrop shape. But you could say, you know what, the teardrop's not really necessary anymore because now we're riffing on a completely different take on this teardrop. So I think what I'm going to do is actually move these over to a new iteration. And I'm going to take this big loop out. And oops, I don't want to take all of it out. I just want to take the big loop out. Let's stay connected somehow. I think it did. Okay. Yeah, that's what happened. There we go. So I'm going to copy that piece over there. We'll bring it here. So delete and paste. My Illustrator's acting up. It probably has a new update or something. You'll be able to see all these updates. There. We have the shape. And I think somehow this is connected. So I'm going to go in and I'm just going to. I have no idea what's going on today. How did those stay connected? Okay, I'm not going to worry about it. It's doubled, and that's something you would deal with later if you had to. So now we have this kind of, it's a plane shape now, I would say. And this little kind of half line right here. You can pull the half line out and just bring it across. And I kind of think I like to do it on this thing. It would be not centered, it would be a little off center. And this then kind of feels like delete that. This will actually be our hook for the whole design. And I kind of feel like this feels like an amethyst crystal or something to me. So I don't know if we want to take this guy, which is, yeah, it's the one that's got all the issues with it, and copy it. Let's try that. We're going to copy down, and I'm going to delete that up there. There we go. So you can see it really is kind of anything you want to do with this. You can just keep making these iterations, and you can make like one of these into an earring design. You can make all of them into an earring design, and you can sit here and spend, it looks like I spent like 23 minutes right now, maybe just 20, because I'm not sure that I started right on 2 o'clock. And you can see that I've got, and these are all singles. I've got all of these iterations then that I can decide whether or not to turn into earrings. So this is, you know, one of those things that by just spending a little bit of time, then you can come up with a lot of ideas. And it kind of lets you play with it a bit versus being, you know, kind of serious about your design, which I kind of like. So like with this one, let's go over here. We'll fill out a half hour. I'm trying to make these shorter. So I personally would probably do something where I go to the center here, and this is with the pen tool again, and pull out a line. And I kind of like where that's at. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to flip it based on the center here. And so we're going to go with the flip tip there, copy. And now we've got something, I don't know, this is kind of reminding me of Girl Scout patches or Boy Scout patches, I think, or maybe, I don't know, some kind of military patch. but it's still got these curves in it, which is unusual for a military patch, I believe. Don't quote me on that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 different designs in 22 minutes. My clock said I've been screen sharing for about 21 and a half right now. So that isn't terrible. And you've got a lot of different feels to this. So if you decided, you know what, I'm going to take this one and let's put that over here. I'm going to take, let's see, what do we like about these? I'm going to take this one. And we're going to take that up there. I think that's a different feel. And then I'm deciding which one of these that I like best. I'm thinking this is a little much for me, but it could be something someone else likes. I like this, but I think I like this better. So I'm going to take this one up here. And if I only do 3 out of all these, then those are very similar because you can see the same shapes. Once people see them separately, then it won't feel like it's the same. And that's, you know, I think a pretty good investment for 30 minutes. That you go through and you finish this up, you create it into your shape for cutting out the laser, and you get them hooked up, take some pictures, and get them listed. So, you know, it's one of those things that you create 16, you take 3, and those 3 then I think could make a lot of profit for you. And you can try lots of other variations on patterns. So this kind of gives you a jumping off point to where you can kind of move with this and go to different areas and kind of do the same thing, but maybe with a diamond to start, or maybe with squares to start, you know, anything that that works for you. I'm going to stop sharing here. There. So this is a short one. This is only 30 minutes. And now I'm going to flip around to making another one. I hope you like this one. I think this one has a lot of promise to it. And I can also do another based on this if you guys like it. So just let me know in the comments. And don't forget to favorite the channel. I'm supposed to be doing all the YouTube things that they've been telling me to do. So soon I'm actually going to have like covers. So thanks for watching, and I'm going to flip around and do another 30 minutes. So stay with me.